Daniel Theobald here. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm here with Carson Heady. He's a sales leader at Microsoft and author. Carson, great to have you today.
Daniel, thank you for having me. Great topic.
Yeah, it's been quite educational. Years ago, before COVID, I did a couple of interviews in this area and got such a great response. Every year I had always intended to, sort of do this again during May. And this year it finally happened. And I'm so glad that we're doing this. I've gotten so many people reaching out and saying how much they appreciate, talking about this topic. And I know you've had some thoughts in this area. You've done some posts and that type of thing. So I'm really glad we're able to connect.
Yeah, it's of critical importance. And thank you for the work you're doing and the light that you're shining on this area of human nature. I think, frankly, the more digital things are becoming, whether it's our workspace or, our interactions with AI, it becomes all the more important that we're bringing and infusing the humanity in the day-to-day. And frankly, one of the biggest realizations that I've had, over the last several years is that vulnerability is strength. That wasn't a place that I was, that I grew up in. That wasn't a place that I, cut my teeth in my career in, but it's something that I've realized over time and some of the most important relationships that I've been in, and even supporting friends and family that have had challenges in the last several years. It's a great message, and I appreciate you evangelizing it.
Well, what you just said really strikes me. Vulnerability is strength. And I was just thinking about this the other day, very recently, because, in one of my recent posts, I admitted to being lonely that day. And I was thinking about that. And I'm like, it's not a big deal that I'm lonely. Everybody in the world experiences loneliness from time to time. So why are we so embarrassed to say something like that? I'm lonely because it makes me feel weak or what? And that same thought came to mind for me, that being able to actually say something like that is a form of strength, because it's showing that you're not embarrassed, that you're willing to be a real, maybe complete human and set a good example for others. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
One of the biggest benefits that I've found to aging, experience, gaining wisdom, whatever you want to call it, is, really having that, getting over yourself and getting over that ego-driven component. There were many years, because I was in sales for many years. And so I spent a lot of time really chasing numbers, and it was all about activity. And it was about, even early on as a sales manager, it was about being invincible. And you watch these movies, you watch movies and television that glamorize that type of activity. And so you're not really trained or conditioned to embrace the vulnerability, because to your point, you're almost pre-programmed to think that it's weakness. What's interesting, Daniel, is when you think about the pursuit of what we're trying to do, it's really to normalize that conversation. And we're not going to do that without speaking it out into existence and realizing that your story, your perspective, the experiences that you have, or the things that you're going through, they matter. And you sharing them can actually give permission to others to do the same. I have realized that I'm not trying to prove anything else really at this stage of my life and career. I've been very blessed and very fortunate. I try to model that behavior, and that's why I've fully embraced being able to speak some of these experiences out into existence. And frankly, one of the biggest things that a lot of people that I work with are chasing is, because I spend a lot of time in the social media and personal branding sphere. I look back at my top performing posts from the last year. They are all by far the most vulnerable ones. The one where I talk about my journey with sobriety or how I was bullied as a teenager. Those are the ones that get the most engagement. And what are you really looking for? You're looking for connection. Everything that we do is based on a bid to connect. And so those types of things, I think, have created meaningful dialogue that I've been able to have with others, and in some cases, people that I've never met.
Yeah, that's so great. I mean, I really liked what you said about giving others permission. If we can make it okay, then I think there's going to be a lot less loneliness, just in the sense of people thinking that they're the only ones that are experiencing something. Everybody else is great. Everyone else is okay. Everybody else is successful. I'm the only one that struggles. And the fact of the matter is we all struggle. Every single one of us struggles. And just realizing that can be power.
We get so used to looking at life sometimes through a lens of people's glamorized social media feeds where they're posting their successes and their accolades and their rewards. But the reality is, we rise by lifting others and being able to lean in and be there with someone in the pain. I always like to, it was one of the things I like to tell my team, and I apply this to customers, but frankly, it's also, you can apply it to just anyone in your sphere, is that if you can sit with someone in the storm, they will walk with you in the sun. And I think that there's a real opportunity right now and anytime to really lean in when people are in pain and proactively seeking out those that, doing real check-ins with folks to make sure that we're at the pulse of what matters to the people that matter to us. And so that we can really be there and support them and lift them up, because we all need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Caring about others is power. I really appreciate that. I love the idea of, being vulnerable publicly, right? Making that okay, acknowledging that we're human. I think that adds a lot to our discussion. Maybe to wrap up, if you could just share some of your hot tips, pro tips, perhaps, on how do you improve and maintain your mental health on a daily basis? What would be the advice you'd give to somebody you cared about?
Yeah, that's a great question, Daniel. I think it's critical that we kind of establish and create and commit to daily non-negotiables around mental health, just like really we would do with any other area of our life and our career. Blocking intentional time. I have time in the morning before I get wrapped up in all the minutia and the fires that have to be put out. I have people in my family that need things, and I know that I have responsibilities. And before all that, I've got to give myself space, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's getting outside, whether it is reading, doing something that allows me to unplug and think. And frankly, it gives me also this ability to, zone out and get a balcony view of what really matters so that I can prioritize my day. Taking breaks, taking intentional breaks throughout the day, go out, take the dog out for a walk, get outside. I mean, there is forest bathing that is, statistically proven to heal you if you spend enough time outside, even if it's 15 minutes, or if you just move and take a walk. These things can have infinite value in your day.
So what is forest bathing? I've heard that term before. Is it just what it sounds like?
It is, and it is basically the scientific proof, and the Japanese studied this extensively, but it is the scientific proof of how being outside can heal much of what ails you, but also it can give your body really the fortitude to stave off some illnesses and things of that stature. So it just sets you up for success. It's a real thing. And I think leaning into those areas, plus taking intentional breaks throughout the day, being active. Lastly, focusing on relationships. I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life rhythm. And so I think there's always going to be pushes and pulls in different directions, but everything that you care about is almost like a stock portfolio. What you invest in is what's going to pay dividends. And I'm very intentional about not only, seeing a therapist, but also the relationships that matter to me, like my marriage, my kids, making sure that I'm investing in them all every single day. Because the last thing that you need or want is for one area of your life to become lopsided, and it drags you down so much that you can't do the other things that you're relied upon to do.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Well, Carson, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your experiences with us. I appreciate it, and I know everyone else who's listening does.
Daniel, thank you. Just realize, everyone out there, your story can save someone. What you've done or what you're doing or what you overcome might be exactly what somebody else needs to hear so that they know that they're not alone.
Pay it forward. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.